my dear students, welcome back to the next session, that is part 3 of the PowerPoint presentation. This is continued from your previous slide. Now let's move on to the next topic in your first chapter, that is internal controls for auditors. Now let's look into what this topic exactly has to explain to us. Okay, now we know who is an auditor, what is internal control. We know all of these, right? We know all the rules and regulations that are established and based on what rules and regulations the auditor have to carry out the auditing. Now under this, first point is the standard establishes requirement and provides direction that applies when auditor is engaged to perform the audit engagement assessment. Okay, basically he has to follow certain rules and regulations, and based on the standards which are set, he has to carry out the auditing management assessment. Okay, he has to carry out the assessment of the books of accounts of the organization. Okay, assessment of the effectiveness of internal control financial reporting that is integrated with an audit of the financial statements. Okay, he has to make sure that whatever auditing he is doing is effective and he is doing it in the proper manner, that is integrating all of the financial reporting along with what is integrating means you're merging everything. You're making sure that whatever auditing is being done, it is done in an effective manner. Now next is effective control. Effective internal control over financial reporting provides reasonable assurance. Okay, when there is effective internal control on financial reporting, so when you're preparing reports etc. on a very in a chronological manner, you're taking into consideration each and every data. When you're taking into consideration each and every data, then there will be a greater chance for reasonable assurance. Okay, and also there will be a greater reliability on financial reporting. So when financial reports are very perfectly prepared, then it becomes very easy for the auditor to carry out the auditing, and therefore there will be less errors and mistake that will be made. Okay, now third one is the auditor's objective is an audit of internal control over financial reporting. So the main objective of the auditor is to get internal control on the financial reports. Okay, and is to express his opinion. He also has to express his opinion about the effectiveness of company's internal control, how the company is managing, how the company is preparing the financial reports, what are the information that the company has to provide to the auditor, and what information they have to maintain, etc. Okay, now because a company's internal control cannot be considered effective in one or more material weaknesses exist. Okay, now it basically says, see, whatever is done is a company is doing it, right? Now in company also it is the human who is doing the work, right? So humans are bound to make errors by mistake. Also it's not necessary that a person is making mistake intentionally. Okay, unintentionally also someone might tend to miss out recording certain financial statements. So that is what it is trying to say, that it based on reasonable or unreasonable mistakes can be made. Okay, next is the general standards are applicable to an audit of internal control over financial reporting. Okay, there are various reports and rules and regulations as per the government that a particular company and the auditor has to follow in order to carry out internal control over the financial reporting. Then the auditor should use the same suitable recognized control framework to perform the audit. Okay, basically they are saying that whenever you have to perform an auditing, you need to make sure that whatever organizational structure is there, you need to study the nature, you need to study based on what is the information that is available with them, etc. And based on that they have to carry out their internal reporting. That is, they have to study the structure first, they need to recognize the framework, and based on that they need to carry out the internal control over the financial reporting. And always internal control is carried on over the financial reporting only, as management uses the financial report for the annual evaluation. Okay, because whatever profit and loss is there, everything will prepare it first, right? Before balance sheet will prepare all of these reports first. So that is only the main focus which represents whether the company is doing well or whether the company is has to improve in its performance. Now moving on to the next slide. Now integrating the audits. Okay, now integrating the audits. Now, under your integrating the audits, the first point is the audit of internal control over financial reporting should be integrated with audit of financial statements. Okay. Now, whatever report you are preparing based on the auditing, whatever internal report you have prepared, it has to be it has to be merged along with your financial reporting. It has to be integrated. Okay. It has to be integrated over financial reporting and integrated with the financial statements. Okay. Then the objectives of the audits are not identical. Okay. The objectives are firstly audits audits will not be identical. The audit of one report might be different, the audit of other report might be different, so they are not identical. However, the auditor must plan and perform to work to achieve the objective of both audits. Okay, he must work very hard in order to achieve the objective of both the audits. Like for example, there are two different informations which are available, so audit performed on based on whatever information is available will be different, right? So he just has to achieve the objective of whatever is expected out of that particular information and based on the audit which is being carried out. Next point is in an integrated audit of internal control over financial reporting and financial statements, the auditor should design his or her testing of controls to accomplish the objectives of both audits simultaneously. Now, based on the information whatever is provided, you need to check your financial statements. Based on that, a financial report has to be prepared, and based on that, you need to see if you are able to achieve the objectives of both the audits. Now, basically, it depends on the auditor, his efficiency, if he can carry both the audits at the same time simultaneously, or he will finish one audit first and move on to the next audit. So it completely depends on the auditor's efficiency. Okay, now under this, if he's carrying out the objectives simultaneously, if he's carrying out the auditing to achieve objectives simultaneously, these are the two things that he needs to keep in mind. Okay, that is to obtain sufficient evidence. Okay, sufficient evidence to support auditor's opinion on internal control over financial reporting as of year end. Okay, whatever financial report has been prepared on the year end, he needs to bring in sufficient evidence. Like for example, you have creditors, you have debtors, you have expenses, etc. He needs to make sure that he is providing certain amount of evidence, like he has provide receipts, vouchers, okay, supporting in evidence saying yes, this transaction had taken place and that is why it is available in the financial statement. Okay, he has to gather evidence. Next is to obtain sufficient evidence to support the auditor's control risk assessment for purpose of audit of financial statement. Okay, again, next is he needs to obtain sufficient evidence to support the auditor's control risk assessment. Now, what is risk? Risk is something that is uncertain. Okay, it could be arising at any moment, at any time in the organization. So in case of uncertainties, there should be certain support which is supporting the auditor's risk assessment. Okay, there should be certain evidence which will support the auditor's report saying that this is the particular risk which has arrived and whatever auditing is being done is apt and it is for sure it is the right auditing. So he needs to gather evidence. Third is obtaining sufficient evidence to support control risk assessments of low for purposes of financial statement audit. Ordinarily allows the auditor to reduce the amount of audit work that otherwise would have been necessary to opine on the financial statements. Okay, basically it says that you have to, basically according to this point also, it says that you have to obtain certain amount of evidences in order to control risk. Okay, in order to control uncertainty, you need to ensure that you have appropriate evidence in order to support your report. Okay, so this is about integrating the audits, that is merging your financial report along with your audit to say that you have to gather necessary evidences. Okay, you're merging. Integrating means you're merging the audits, that is one audit and the other audit, to achieve the objectives of both the audits. Now, one audit will be different from the other audit. Now, the auditor must make sure that he should be capable enough in order to carry out the auditing simultaneously with each other. Okay, next move on to the next slide, that is planning the audit. Now, every time auditing, if you have to do auditing, everything should be first step to do anything is to plan. Planning is the first step of implementation and execution. Okay. So now let's look into what planning of audit has to say. Basically, first, who will plan the audit? The auditor will plan the audit. Okay. Now, auditor should properly plan the audit of internal control over financial reporting. How will he do the internal control over the financial reporting, and how will he supervise the engagement of the team members who will be in the auditor's team, and how will he supervise whatever the work the team members are doing. Now, when planning an integrated audit, the auditor should evaluate whether the following matters are important to the company's financial statements and internal control over financial reporting, and if so, how will they affect the auditor's procedure. All of these are the contents which has to be available. These are the contents that the auditor will evaluate to see if everything is available to carry out auditing, and what are the various things that will affect the audit process. Okay, first one is knowledge of company's internal control over financial reporting obtained during the engagements performed by the auditor. This is the first information that he will take. Next is matters affecting the industry in which company operates, such as financial reporting practices, economic conditions. Okay, as you all know, when you are commerce students, you know what are the various factors which will affect the industries. It is your social, political, technological, various factors that affect the industries, right? So next he will see what are the various things that is affecting the operation of the company. How is the functioning of the company affected? Next, third point is matters relating to company's business. Now, what are the matters relating to company's business, which include its organization, okay, the structure of the organization, operating characteristics, what are the features, what are the characteristics, what is the nature, and the capital structure. Okay, whether it is in the form of whether it is in the ratio of debt and equity, okay, whatever the capital structure of the organization is. Next, fourth point is the extent of recent changes. As we all know, the environment is dynamic, right? The environment keeps changing every now and then. So when everything is dynamic, how are these changes affecting the environment? He also has to take this into consideration. The extent of recent changes, if any, if the company, its operations or internal control over financial reporting, how are these changes bringing about various how are these changes bringing about changes in the functioning and the operations of the company. Okay, next is the fifth point is the auditor's preliminary judgments about materiality. Okay, what kind of material the organization has, what is the risk which is associated with the organization or company, and other factors relating to determination of material weakness. Okay, next is now material can also be referred to as your availability of information also. Okay, based on whether the information is whatever the organization is, whether they are providing with the proper information to carry out auditing, etc. Next is control deficiencies previously communicated to the audit committee or management. Okay, whatever the deficiencies are, in case if their company has any drawbacks, or in case if the company has any sorts of disadvantages or is lacking behind in some matters or anything as such, all of this has to be communicated to the audit committee. In case if they do not have reports for certain things which are available or anything as such, it has to be communicated to the audit committee or management. The seventh point is legal or regulatory matters of which company is aware. Okay, now all this has to be informed to the auditor before while the planning of the auditing is done. Next is the type and extent of available evidence related to effectiveness of the company's internal control over financial reporting. We've discussed this in the previous slide. Next is preliminary judgments about the effectiveness of internal control over financial reporting. Now we need to see how effective the internal control is over the financial reporting. Based on this effectiveness, we need to pass on our judgment also to see how effective it is and how is it being advantageous to the company and the auditor. Next, last one is public information about the company relevant to evaluation of likelihood of material financial misstatements and effectiveness of the company's internal control over the financial reporting. This again is one and the same of the previous point. Okay, so this is regarding your planning of the audit. Now next is addressing the risk of fraud. So I hope these 10 points are clear to you, what the auditor has to keep in mind before he is going ahead with planning the audit, and what is the information that he has to make sure that he is available with him for planning the audit. Next is addressing the risk of fraud. Now what is fraud? Fraud is something that is a misappropriate activity which is happening in the organization, right? There is a certain amount of risk. Now under the addressing of risk of fraud, it says, okay, while basically you're planning and performing the audit of internal control over financial reporting, the auditor should take into the result of his or her risk of fraud assessment. He should also keep in mind that whatever information can be provided to him, in that amount of information, there can also be certain amount of fraud which will be involved. That is wrong quoting of data or wrong entry which is being made either intentionally or unintentionally. Okay, the auditor should evaluate whether the company's controls sufficiently addressed identified risk of material misstatement due to fraud and controls intended to address the risk of management override other controls. Okay, now under this particular thing, he needs to make sure that whatever risk is available, what is the basic control he is taking on this particular risk. Okay, first is control over significant transactions that are outside the normal course of business for the company, or that otherwise appear to be unusual due to their timing, size, or nature, particularly those that result in late or unusual journal entries. Now you would have all read in your previous semesters also, right? Because in your accounts, that there'll be wrong entry or wrong transactions, either intentionally or unintentionally, which do not match the actual working of the business, or sometimes they will have credited 5,000, 6,000, or anything as such, which is very unusual. The journal entry becomes very unusual, and it kinds of creates doubt in the minds of the auditor, saying why this particular entry has come into existence when it has nothing to do with the balance sheet or anything to do with the business. Okay, next is control over journal entries and adjustment made in period end financial reporting process. Now in case the organization, what they do is basically, in order to set aside their in order to balance their profit and losses, they will make fake reports, and they will make fake adjustments. Okay, so during the period end reporting, so all that will also be noticed by the auditor. Next is controls over related party transactions. Okay, controlling over the related party transaction, whoever is involved in the carrying out a business with that particular company. Controls related to significant management estimates. Okay, then next one is controls to that mitigate incentives for pressure on management to falsify inappropriate manage financial results. So basically all of these are risks. Okay, and to control these and to avoid these risks, there is various controls which are taken up in order to avoid the risk of fraud. These are the controls you have to control on, making wrong transactions. You have to make sure that there should be control over the period end process, control over related party transaction, control over significant management estimates, and control of mitigate incentives. That is what they'll do in the last point. Is basically, there'll be people who will be of very selfish motive in the top management, and they might pressurize the auditor or the company heads in order to falsify statements, in order to make wrong journal entries, and to show the wrong estimates. Okay, so this is one thing that you need to mitigate, that is you need to remove. Okay, you need to mitigate means to remove. Okay, controls that are removing incentives. Okay, mitigating means removing. So this is one particular control which has been brought into consideration, which is addressing the risk of fraud. Now moving on to the next topic, it is your materiality. Now what is materiality? Materiality is basically in planning the audit of internal control over financial reporting. Now what happens here is the auditor should use same materiality consideration he or she would use in planning the audit of the company's annual financial statements. Okay, whatever information the auditor is using to carry out planning of auditing, he has to use the same information regarding the company's financial, regarding preparing the reports also. Over the while he's doing financial reporting, he has to take into consideration the same financial reports. Now materiality is a concept of convention within auditing. Okay, basically it is one concept under auditing and accounting relating to how important materiality is based on the amount of transaction and discrepancy. Okay, based on how many amount of transaction is taking place, etc. Materiality plays an important role. Next is identifying entity level controls. Now entity level controls is basically the auditor must test those entity level. What is entity level? Entity level means company level. Okay, company level control. Okay, the auditor must test those entity level controls that are important to auditor's conclusion. Okay, he has to make sure what is the entity level control that he needs to bring into existence, that is important in order to give a conclusion for the entire financial report that the auditor is preparing. Okay, the auditor's evaluation of entity level controls can result in increasing or decreasing the testing that the auditor otherwise would have performed on other hand. Okay, basically Next is your entity level control includes. Okay, this entity level control includes the following points. That is, first one is controls related to control environment. Now, what are the basic things that are related to controlling the environment? How how is the environment regulated based on the various rules and regulations which are implied, etc. Then controls over management override, control the company's risk assessment process. We already discussed all of this, right? Then centralized processing and controls including shared service environments. Okay, these are the CSR activities. Then controls to monitor results of operation, that is the day-to-day operations of the business. Okay, then controls to monitor other controls. It could be any other control apart from production, manufacturing, etc. Okay, including activities of internal audit function, the internal audit committee, self-assessment program. That is all of these come under your other controls. Okay, wherein the organization has to monitor all of this under your materiality. Okay, then under your entity level, sorry. Then next one is controls over period end financial reporting, as well as policies and address significant business control and risk management practices. All of this play an important role, and all of these are included under your internal and entity level controlling. Okay, what is entity level and what entity level control actually includes? Okay, how is the entity level controlling managed, and what are the various things that are included in the entity level control. Now next is there are selecting controls for test. Now basically selecting controls for test, these are the various things that are to be included. These are the various controls that you can implement for carrying out your testing. First one is the auditor should test those controls that are important to the auditors in conclusion, that whether the company's control sufficiently addresses or the address risk statement to the relevant assertion. Now what is trying to say is basically whatever the test is, okay, in case if the auditor has to come up with a particular conclusion, now whatever test he's doing, he has to make sure that this particular test is is able to address any sort of risk or any sort of misstatement which has happened. Okay, next is there might be one or more than one control that addresses the assessed risk or misstatement to particular relevant assertion. Conversely, one control might address the assessed risk of misstatement to more than one relevant assertion. It is neither necessary to test all controls related to a relevant assertion nor to test redundant controls unless redundancy is itself a control objective. Okay, basically this point is trying to say that there might be more than one risk in an organization. Suppose you have bought in one control procedure. Okay, you have implemented one control procedure. Now not necessary that particular control only will have to take care of all the types of risk. It might be able to solve, it might not be able to solve. So there should not be any harsh kind of test that has to be involved. Itself the time or the way you mitigate the risk only is a type of control objective. Next is the decision as to whether a control should be selected for testing depends on which controls individually or in combination sufficiently addresses the addressed risk, assessed risk of misstatement to a relevant assertion rather than how low the control is labeled. Now basically it says that you need to select a control for test, right? Now you need to see if that particular control is able to mitigate that risk, reduce that particular risk, or if it is able to give you a particular result based on if it is able to reduce the risk or anything as such. Based on that you need to implement that particular control. Okay, that particular test you need to implement. So this is about selecting controls for test. Now next you have factors that affect the risk associated with control. We will continue this in the next video.